What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Are we going through a resurgence of AI and deep in projects with BTC TAO Near Protocol, Co-AI on Binance and Hash AI up slightly today? Perhaps, but I know the reasons why TAO is up, 17% outperforming Bitcoin. And what I was actually thinking about doing the video, it kind of led me down an interesting path because most people don't understand what drives a cryptocurrency up. And I think the BTC pair is very important. So in this video, I'm going to give you information that is not readily available out there to investors, considering that the charts that we've been holding have been bleeding. This is going to be a video you don't want to miss. Smash a like and let me get on with it straight away. So when you look at a particular project, and the first thing you want to do is check if it has a BTC pairing. Now, the Bitcoin pairing is very, very important because what it does is it gives you additional information that you may not be privy to. And that information is the performance of your altcoin versus BTC. We're looking at here, Solana's kind of quarterly performance versus BTC, Ethereum, TAO, Axelar, SUI. We've got a bunch of cryptocurrencies here. Now, regardless of their volume or what it is that they're doing at the moment, let's have a look at the performance. So you can see here, everything pretty much has underperformed Bitcoin in the last week, with the exception of BNB. Of course, BNB up 15% versus Bitcoin. And we're not even going to look at the stocks because that's not paired in BTC. But you're seeing the quarterly performance also, right? So if you look at the quarterly performance in the last quarter, Solana 31%, Ethereum 42%, TAO minus 5%, but up 17% over the weekly. Okay. And most of the other altcoins are down versus BTC, including KASPA. Even with the smart contract announcement, KASPA versus BTC is down. Having said that, we are going to take another step, right? You can see here a strong buy here, BTC TAO, and then most of the other cryptocurrencies are sell. Bitcoin, a strong buy at the moment. That's a pretty good signal. Binance Coin, of course, has been ripping through the market. But if we look at these technical ratings, right? Stock market is warming up. Beam versus BTC. Right now, oscillator rating, neutral. But it is absolutely, that's IMX, sorry, B buy here, technical rating. And of course, Solana sell, strong sell on ALF, Ethereum sell. So you're starting to see some cryptocurrencies like BTC TAO break away from the market. I'm not saying that is the only reason, but it is part of a strong buy. I mean, I have shown you that the AI projects are going through a resurgence due to purely the Bitcoin dominance pair here for BTC TAO. So how can you use this information to make a choice and see what your cryptocurrency is doing, right? So what we have is I have a standard box that I draw, right, for levels where the price reacts versus Bitcoin. So this is KASPA. Now, KASPA has been one of the best performers against Bitcoin 2 years ago. And when KASPA came out, and pretty much from April 24 right up to June, June here, it was absolutely going berserk. Right? But then it went through a period of Bitcoin dominance fight, which it ultimately lost. And you can clearly see why that's important, because this is going to tell you if you lose the ratio on your BTC pair, the chances are you will go through a prolonged individual crypto bear market for that specific currency. Not a bear market in the sense, because you can have your alts bleeding versus BTC that go on harsh, long winters. So back in October, really was the decline 2024 of Bitcoin, of KASPA versus BTC. And ever since, it tried to hold the downtrend a couple of times. You see here, 1, 2, and then third time we put the brakes on. So why am I looking at this? This is where breakouts are going to come from. So what we have is test, rebound, test, breakout, breakdown, test the bottom. And then now what we've done is we have come to the bottom of, versus Bitcoin. So that's KASPA. When KASPA breaks out of this box, I can tell the community for sure that the price outperformance is coming. Now, if we take it to the other extreme, what we had is a coin like Solana, which had a number of crazy waves versus Bitcoin. First came in April 23. If you look at 2021 cycle here, but really this is what we need to look at, kind of June, July, the summer of 2023 is when Solana took off versus BTC. In addition to that, what it did is a period of fight, which it ultimately lost to BTC, but it claimed back. It claimed back the situation very, very quickly, started outperforming versus BTC. I think this was the bottom back in June for this pair. So Solana overall kind of flipped the Bitcoin pair, and now it's just retesting. It's in an order block. Ethereum, on the other hand, is a completely different picture because ETH has remained below its 50-day average or 50-day moving average price versus Bitcoin forever. So if you look at this on the weekly, you start to understand periods where we're above this 50 SMA, we outperform Bitcoin. And anytime ETH gets below it, it goes into a prolonged bear market. And in this case here, outperforming the lack of performance versus Bitcoin goes all the way back to 2023, like summer 2023. It lost it. And then what it did, boom, boom, boom. And then we finally broke out here. Now, because we finally broke out, we are going through a bit of retest. But Ethereum in general has pretty much found the kind of bottom, in my opinion, versus Bitcoin around this ratio back in April this year. So look forward to great things. And if you even zoom in, and ETH, when I say ETH versus BTC, I mean, a lot of cryptocurrencies will be linked to this. But if I just get rid of, I'll just show you, if I just delete that, you're seeing this is an order block here. That's a green order block. So I do hope that we don't really come back and retest this low once again, because it means if ETH breaks below, if it does this test, that's what I'm hoping for. This is exactly what I'm hoping for. If it doesn't, then we are screwed. So what we need ETH doing is coming down, testing this, and then boom, go to the sun, sunshine. If we, however, fail that, we are going to be in trouble, because what it will do is it will come, test, break down, and then really fall. But I don't see that happening. That scenario can't happen, because if it does get under the 50-day moving average, it just flip green. So I'm expecting this a good continuation here. And TAO, look, TAO has bottom versus BTC for a long time. And I love these charts because what they do is they give me this predictable sub 50 EMA. Even on the daily, you get to see it way, way better. What you see in here is TAO in this predictable yellow box until we get above the 50-day moving average. And we've done that. TAO is going to maybe go and retest this, but you're clearly seeing we are now above this red line. So one of the reasons I draw this box is just to give me an indication as and when a bottoming happens and a breakout occurs versus Bitcoin. I couldn't care less what it does on the daily price, but the daily price is not bad at all. What you're seeing here is a crazy, crazy outperformance versus the rest of the market. Axelar, the picture is different. This has been one of the most horrific downtrends versus Bitcoin that I can think of since, December last year. It was up above its moving average versus Bitcoin. But really, I mean, it's never really been a great hold until now. So what you're seeing with Axelar is this kind of pattern here, bottoming versus Bitcoin, and then claim the 50-day. Then we're talking. Then I'm interested to look at my bag, refresh my bag, and see what's going on. SUI is another popular one here. What I love about SUI is SUI was the biggest outperformer versus Bitcoin back in the summer of last year. So it broke out in August. And look at that, guys. It's just magic, isn't it? Lose the 50-day and you're effed. Keep above the 50-day and you are doomed. So it lost that in January versus Bitcoin. What you see here, rejected. Briefly went above it, got rejected. So it's really, look, for now, it doesn't stay away from just immediately, it's a good coin you can hold versus Bitcoin, in my opinion, even in a bear market. I think, SUI is going to be one of the best cryptocurrencies. Why? Because its relative strength versus Bitcoin is consistent. Say it's another one that's bottom versus Bitcoin. And what I like about Say is from January, February 2025 until now, it has performed consistently versus Bitcoin, meaning that at some point it's going to break out of this pattern. You're seeing the pattern very, very clearly. Has never really outperformed Bitcoin since launch. So this is a very clear pattern to me. One of the best charts to look at. And if you actually zoom out a little bit, you're starting to see Say's real breakout was November 2024. November 2023, it absolutely ripped versus Bitcoin, but ever since it has bled. But what I like about this pattern now is I call this a level of stability. Okay, this is a level of stability versus Bitcoin, which means at some point it's going to break this box. And if we look at the other extreme on the micro cap side, this is Alephium versus BTC, right? Bleed forever with no consistent holdout versus Bitcoin. That's insane. You may argue that a lot of the micro caps are looking like this anyway, but look at this. Below the 50-day, again, printed a red candle here. I was hoping that this candle, which came on 6th of October, came purely at token 2049. And I've noticed that pattern with ALF. But there is no, right now, from a technical standpoint, it has not put, what it needs to do is put a period of, it's got to hold versus BTC instead of bleeding versus BTC. And I know all the alts are bleeding versus BTC, but you've got to put the brakes on, okay? And that's what, like this. This is a predictable break holding before breakout pattern. This is a pretty much outperformance. It's printed a cup and handle over here versus Bitcoin. The next leg up. This is the reality of crypto right now. Look. That's Solana versus Bitcoin. So anyway, in summary, it's important. A lot of the alts are at their bottoms. The RSI is closer to the bottom here than it is to the top. For Say versus Bitcoin, for CAS, the picture is the same. Okay, has a lot of resistance here, but CAS is now printed a mega candle versus Bitcoin at the bottom of this box. Y'all can see that. There's no cap. The proof is in the pudding. So I guess, look, let me summarize this for you. We will make money on the basis of the next run, right? Let's be fair. The crypto has to have a run. Otherwise, no one's going to touch. This will be the most expensive mistake everybody's made. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are going to make money. But we've been tested to the levels where right now this run is really, really ridiculous. One of the reasons is people don't really have a focus coin, right? Bitcoin maxis by Bitcoin. You've got BNB maxis. You've got Solana maxis. You've got XRP Army. But really, for the rest of us, There's nothing consistent about what we buy. So if we can't make 1,000x, then it's bleed. Whereas all the meme coins are, say, $500 a position, whilst, you need to find something to invest in. I guess a technology, a long-term belief. I believe in decentralized AI, so I put money on this every single time. Am I mad? Possibly. But do I believe in something? Absolutely. The same with SUI. I'd go buy SUI. I bought a lot of SUI. I actually don't buy SUI anymore, but I love SUI to the point where I buy the ecosystem. Like Bluefin, I would go and buy Lofi, because I do believe I need to focus there. The problem is people are watching 200 different channels, and most of the channels that get fewer views are the get rich quick schemes. And this message, I'm a small channel here. This message may not get to a lot of people, but for those that this message gets to, is very clear. What you have to do is find purpose in crypto. What's your purpose in crypto? If it's 100x, then you need to go to the trenches full time, right? Because those are rare. Let's be fair. Nobody holds through, people just need money these days, right? But if you are somebody who believes within 2 cycles or 1.5 cycle, you could absolutely get rich, yes, crypto is for you. And they believe that you need to have one core, if it's Bitcoin, if it's, Ethereum, if it's Solana, if it's TAO, whatever you fancy. I do believe these are good coins. But for example, the likes of TAO, the likes of Ondo, the likes of Zebek, these are all fundamentally good coins that are going to grow over time because they have real world applications. And then you can sprinkle a bit of gaming, bit of meme coins. I think, for example, Beam's a great infrastructure play. But if you can hold it long term, you could see the benefits, right? Because once they break out of their Bitcoin pairing, things go hard. So that's my overall advice. Believe in something so you feel better about yourself, and then everything else, take it with a pinch of salt and start playing with the market. But alt season's coming, and I've just given you all your alts versus BTC and what patterns to look out for. I think it's a valuable video. Don't you think? If so, give me a like. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.